Our citizens are being abandoned. Our citizens are being dismissed. Our citizens are being left to their own devices at this point because this massive hurricane Milton, which started off as a Category 5, at least according to some reports, became a Category 3 storm as soon as it hit. It is currently causing some damage in the Florida region, adding further more pain and suffering, just like what Hurricane Helene did as well. So to our Florida audience and everybody in the affected regions, please be safe, listen to the authorities, help each other out. And if you are helping each other out, stay low so that the police don't arrest you, because apparently there is a lack of funds and resources to help the American people. And yet both sides of the political aisle are politicizing this event. But yet, we're not seeing real leadership from Kamala or Biden. We're just seeing them there with their, monotone voices. I mean, they could be doing more to give us relief, but they're not. Case in point, hey, here's some inspirational leadership from Kamala Harris. It's only 19 seconds, but it's 19 seconds to show. Now, Kamala Harris was being briefed on Hurricane Milton when she was overheard telling her handlers it's a live broadcast while being fed questions. So, gee, maybe instead of saying it's a live broadcast, maybe you and your staffers should coordinate. You know what this tells me? That speaking to Kamala is like stepping on eggshells. That's what it is.
Flood. We really got to watch those areas and those communities. So it takes quite a while for that water to drain.
Why are you going to say live broadcast? Again, you'll hear her say that, cover her mouth. She could at least wave her hand and like dismiss a person.
So it takes quite a while for that water to drain. We really got to watch those areas and those communities. So it takes quite a while for that water to drain.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Ken, I have a question for you. You mentioned words matter, and I know there is a lot of media following this briefing.
Flood. We really got to watch
live broadcast here, just so you guys understand just how devastating the storm is. And this is just one example, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of communities that have been devastated as well. This, well, just so y'all know, is a Tampa Bay Rays baseball field.
For the Rays play in St. Pete, the roof was ripped off by the hurricane, and it was being used as a shelter for first responders. So what you're looking at is the roof completely shredded. I'd say maybe about 10 to 15% of the roof is even left up there, and of course it's badly damaged as well. But of course, you're looking down into the field. You're seeing the field and a bunch of cots, as well as the debris from the roof that fell down to the field. I did not hear of any injuries, but I do know that they had to evacuate all the first responders out of the building. Of course, it's definitely a scar left by Hurricane Milton.
And this is a giant baseball stadium, by the way. That's how powerful these winds are. Can you imagine so many towns and cities that have been devastated and hit hard? And what is Biden and Kamala doing? Nothing. By the way, folks, just so y'all know, the president even did a briefing too. Now, I won't be playing in its full entirety, but here's our sitting commander-in-chief, if he is. Again, all of this looks so fake. It looks so minuscule and small. This is supposed to be leadership?
In less than 14 hours, Hurricane Milton will make landfall on the western coast of Florida. Winds will be fierce at well over 100 miles per hour, with storm surges reaching up to 15 feet, up to 18 inches of rain. It's looking like the storm of the century. I'm here with leaders of my administration who are in the front lines preparing for this storm, and will brief me and our latest efforts. To save lives and livelihoods, I want to emphasize a few things. First, many communities in Hurricane Milton's path do not have.
First of all, my audience, you guys are being way too mean. They put him at the kids' table again. Which body double is this? A small teacher's desk? Barely bigger than a school desk. What is wrong with some of you guys? Look at this. Look at it. Oh my goodness. It looks like a Fisher-Price President place set. Ha! What's wrong with you? What's wrong with all of you? What a strange shot. Who's his desk buddy? That's what I want to know. Probably one of his medical handlers, maybe. Maybe. Let's see. Why isn't he in the Oval Office? Did they already kick out all of his stuff? Probably so. He should be speaking in the Oval Office. And Dan Burr says, all I hear is mumble, 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 mumble.
Have a moment to catch their breath between Helene and Milton. 2 historic storms in 2 weeks. I want to thank everyone who has followed local guidance to evacuate ahead of the landfall. I know it's really tough leaving behind your home, your belongings, everything you own. But I urge everyone in Hurricane Milton's path to follow all safety instructions as we head to the next 24 hours. It's literally a matter of life and death. Second, for the last week, my team has done everything possible to prepare for this storm. I immediately approved emergency declarations in Florida and the Seminole Tribe in Florida. I also surged search and rescue teams, water, food, power generators, ambulances to the region. In my direction, Administrator Criswell will be.
There's been reports that relief isn't even getting to the people. I mean, case in point, look what happened with Hurricane Helene before Milton came into existence. Look at how the lack of resources and relief. I mean, I have a few of my audience members too, who are still struggling in the aftermath. All right. These are my viewing audience members who live in North Carolina or South Carolina or in Florida. Or I have audience members and people who tell me that, hey, we're trying to reach out to our loved ones. And these are one, their loved ones are okay. Or not also number 2 on that, hey, they're still struggling. Where's our relief, Joe Biden? Where's the coordination, Kamala Harris? Where is your support and the aid that the American people should get? Oh, wait, we're not getting it. You want to know where our money is going to? It's going to foreign wars. Now, this is one video, but I think it's safe to assume that this lady speaks for a lot of us, especially in regards to all the money that's being wasted in Ukraine or in Israel right now for these pointless wars.
Don't like this one today, and I don't give a flying fuck. Y'all need to go back to Ukraine and get my fucking money back. Get my motherfucking money back. I do not pay taxes to take care of anybody else except for the American people. The American people. My friends and family in my home state of Florida should not be fucking struggling. My friends in North Carolina that are going without water and electricity for almost 2 weeks now should never fucking happen. And that $750, you can shove it right up your fucking ass because it's not going to give them nothing in this shit-ass economy. Stop fucking playing in our face and go get the money that we busted our fucking ass for so we can take care of our own people. Are the American people.
I mean, yeah, we need that. Where's our relief? Where's our aid? And the thing is now, I also want to pull up this one. Shout out to Nico House. But apparently Harris is calling the Florida governor selfish.
Kamala Harris is supposedly super upset because Ron DeSantis wouldn't take her calls ahead of Hurricane Milton. Not gonna lie, thought this was a joke. She's wholly serious. This is a real story, guys. Kamala Harris calls Ron DeSantis partially in response to Hurricane Helene, but also to get out ahead of Hurricane Milton. Now, she claims she was doing so because she wanted to offer some help. Now, I need everybody to understand. Kamala can't really do shit to help the situation right now. I mean, she literally called Ron DeSantis a monster for not answering the phone. And I may not be that big of a fan of Ron DeSantis, but considering Florida is currently dealing with the impact of one hurricane that just passed and is about to deal with the impact of another that could be potentially more disastrous, I think Ron DeSantis got better shit to do than to take Kamala Harris's phone calls. In a statement, Kamala said that in a moment of crisis, Ron DeSantis should put his politics to the side and put people first. And on its face, I agree with that statement, which is why instead of playing politics, he actually got in touch with Joe Biden and the head of FEMA and ordered an evacuation in the state of emergency. In fact, on the White House's own website, they put that Joe Biden declared an emergency in Florida and ordered assistance to supplement the state after Ron DeSantis put in the request. In other words, Kamala, the only one playing politics here is you. But that does bring to mind another question. Normally when it comes to any event, even natural disasters. It's open season on Republicans any chance that Democrats get a chance to blame them for anything. And they're usually working in lockstep while doing so. But yet again, we are seeing another example where Biden is seemingly detracting from Kamala. And Kamala's attacks on DeSantis didn't seem to be coordinated with Biden at all, because DeSantis and Biden are working together. And maybe Biden decided not to inform his current vice president, leaving Kamala once again looking like the court jester in front of the whole country. Now that I think about it, can y'all think of a time in the last couple of weeks, or really the last couple of months, where Biden has gone out and stomped for Kamala, even though he endorsed her on social media? Seems to me that Milton might not be the only storm brewing behind the scenes this week. Because whether it's putting on a MAGA hat in the middle of the election and embarrassing Kamala, or not informing Kamala that Biden, DeSantis, and FEMA have already started working together ahead of Milton to protect Floridians, it seems like Biden is marching to his own beat now. It's like there might be some trouble in Democrat paradise. But I guess if I was a victim of a coup, I would be salty too.
Who wouldn't be? But, you know, there's something else I want to bring up. Something that one of my viewers did share. Because, folks, once the hurricane passes, there's something else that's been brushed aside. No further updates, though. But, you know, there was that big explosion in Georgia. Apparent negligence. And this is only a week ago. A chemical plant fire in Georgia. For so many people to take shelter. For Vanetta West, the plume of smoke rising in the sky outside her home in the city of Conyers, Georgia, was a sign not just of immediate risk, but a danger that had been hiding in plain sight for years. The plume was a result of an accident at the biolab and spa chemical company in the city of nearly 20,000 residents about 25 miles east of Atlanta. Tens of thousands of people were impacted by an evacuation order for those immediately nearby, or by a wider shelter-in-place order for those further away. The smell of chlorine drifted over much of the Atlanta area. For West 48, it was also a wake-up call, as a biolab was the site of an industrial accident for a third time in the last 2 decades. West, a consultant in nonviolent community building who has lived in Conyers for about 15 years, said the incident made her realize there's a facility that could be potentially very damaging in my backyard. It reminded me of a need to care about each other, people over profit. That was that explosion about a week ago. Anybody talking about it still? Very similar to like how East Palestine was eventually ignored by corporate media. Or Flint, Michigan. Or let's not even forget about Lahaina. And eventually, too, as we're seeing in real time, eventually these politicians are going to be forgetting about the people who were hit by the hurricanes. Does it come as no surprise why Americans are enraged? Why they're furious? Why they lack trust for a system that is effectively abandoning them? It is understandable why Americans are getting angry. That one woman who I played, the video of her furious and enraged, angry that our money is going to wars, that our money is being used for bailing out the banks, for bailing out Wall Street. The American people right now are suffering, and yet we are getting nothing, no leadership from this administration. Just platitudes and words, statements, no deeds, no actions. And this could cost the Democrats the election. It very well could, and it should. And just because Kamala seems to be a little salty that Ron DeSantis isn't picking up her phone call, well, hey, that's called being ghosted, Kamala. Deal with it. Maybe you don't inspire leadership, and maybe you're so toxic that not only would your presence damn and destroy any kind of potential Democrats that are running for office, but it could very well be so toxic for Republicans too. Maybe the real big secret is that Biden and Kamala are the biggest jokes in Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for your daily dose of a nightmare in 3, 2, 1, and yet somehow out of the blue, liberals think that was the winning ticket in 2020. And now these same liberals want you to vote for Kamala in 2024. Tell me again, Democrats, with this lack of leadership and so many Americans that have been abandoned, why should we stick our necks out for you again?
when you are not with where majority of Americans are, then, you know, that is extreme. That is an extreme way of thinking.
Hoped you would never find out. Knew that you had to know. Pulling what's left of my mind out, trying to tell you so. I've tried to block the light out. Knew you could feel its glow. I've been here holding my hands out, trying to keep you close. Trying to keep you
I really want to set you free, but I really want to let you be. And a part of me wished I could set myself aside, just let you take the ride, just chalk the rest up to destiny. I could let you believe that the only restraints in life are the size of your dreams. Let you believe each kid grows up with the world at their feet. When I know too well it's open season, I know they're taking stock and raising stocks and raising stock. And I'm simply not here to sit and watch as you learn the lesson all cogs are taught. Keep your head down and keep to task and just keep on blocking the rest of it all out. Just keep on with the rest of the herd of a million adjacent oblivious workers. The forest unseen for the trees, and the trees unseen for the fallout. Now what's more damning, baby, the truth or the ignorance? Fuck it, I honestly wonder if I see the answer so well. Baby, believe me well, I know it's scary, I scare myself. If I could find a way out of my head, I would run like hell. I would ditch this body politic, mindless occupant somewhere far from the dismal abyss. In the tranquil crystalline bliss of the beach, I could rest with the rest of the shells. And if anyone asks I'm anywhere else, if I'm really needed, just light the candle, then read the book, and then ring the bell. Oh, my untarnished heart, my little perfect soul, this world will melt your mercy down so they can sell its gold. This world will take your worth and then demand 1,000-fold. It's full of greedy pigs who'll eat you out of house and home. They'll strip your bank account and sweep you somewhere down the road, and then return to eat your tent and shitty bike you rode. Your bottled water, only shoes and coat and broken phone. Then smiling in your face, they'll tell you that the shelter's closed.
When you are not with where majority of Americans are, then, you know, that is extreme. That is an extreme way of thinking.
Hoped you would never find out. Knew that you had to know. Pulling what's left of my mind out, trying to tell you so. I tried to block the light out. Knew you could feel its glow. I've been here holding my hands out, trying to keep you close. Trying to keep you
Oh, my untarnished heart, my little perfect soul, this world will melt your mercy down so they can sell its gold. This world will take your worth, then demand 1,000-fold. I tried to block the light just so I could keep you close.